Hello, and welcome to CIST 2451, the first networking class, and it's the first Cisco class. There's three Cisco classes in sequence. Many of you in this class, I realize, will not be taking the second and third Cisco class, but some of you will be. The ones that will take all three Cisco classes will be the ones that are in the Cisco specialization in networking and the cybersecurity students. Others could take all three of them, using the other two as their electives in their programs. But for most of you, it'll just be this one course. So I want to welcome you to the class for this semester, and that I want to go over a few things with you in this video. There are things that I would normally cover in the first day of class in the classroom, and that you'll be able to see me in this session, and that hopefully I'll answer most of your questions. When you get to the end of listening to this whole thing, if there are things that you're still not sure about, or you got questions about, feel free to send me an email and ask me the questions, and I will get back to you. The other part is, make sure you read through the announcements also, because there's some more information provided in there also, particularly the first announcement that's actually popping up this first week in startup for you, that welcomes you to the class and tells you some about the class. Now, let me tell you a little about me, because I will be your instructor for the next 15 weeks in this class. Some of you may have me for more than one class. And that, so the first thing I want to tell you about is my educational background. I have been I took classes on computers starting from my senior year in high school, which was back in 1972-73, which was highly unusual at that time. For most of you that are in the class today, that when you were in high school, it wasn't unusual at all to have computer classes on several different years in there. Back at that point in time, my high school had over 2,000 students. We had 551 graduating seniors that year, and I believe it was 6 of us got to take a computer class that year. And that was an interesting class for me. Then I went to college. I've attended a number of different colleges with different credits. My primary education has been that I attended Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina for 5 years. And I got a bachelor's degree in political science there and a master's degree in business administration, which you'll also see referred to as an MBA quite often. And that was in business administration. And in the process of getting both of those degrees, as I was getting near the end of my political science degree, I had gotten into taking some computer courses there at Winthrop. I figured out that's what I was really interested in. And so I took got into taking a lot of those courses, and down in my last semester, I'd really like to major in computers, but I still had to take another, I know it was at least an additional semester beyond that to get, I believe it was, to get my bachelor's degree in computers, but I only needed one course to finish my bachelor's degree in political science and no additional semesters. So I did that, and then I went into the MBA program because that was the graduate business program there. In the process, and I used computer courses for my electives in there. In the process, I took every computer course the college offered to undergraduate students and for graduates to be able to take. So I've got the equivalent of a bachelor's degree in computers. That was all programming courses, because at that time, programming was what they were teaching. It was right as the first PCs were being invented. Ed Roberts had invented the PC out in New Mexico, and Bill Gates and Paul Allen were in the process of programming it. But we didn't have those at my school. We were working on mainframes. Beyond that, I've taken a few more credit classes at Southwestern a few years ago, and I also take a continuing ed classes. I just finished a continuing ed class from CompTIA on their CASP Plus exam on how to teach it. It's a train to trainer series that they do. They run 2 nights a week, 2 hours a night, for about 6 weeks. And they go through and teach us all on it. I can watch the sessions live or recorded. I prefer to watch live because I can interact with the instructor, and I've actually met most of the instructors on it. And I'm go through some other trainings also. I'm also currently taking a Apple Swift programming course that's to write apps for various Apple devices. That TCSG, the parent organization for Georgia Northwestern, is offering to instructors all over the state. We've done 4 of 7 sessions in there, I believe it is, till Christmas break. So the Friday of this first week of the semester, I'll have my next session on that, which runs 4.5 hours on those Fridays. So I'm continuously learning. I have worked out there in the real world also in computers, and I have taught at several different schools. I've been at Georgia Northwestern since March 2007, so I will be celebrating my 15th anniversary this spring during your semester. And I've taught at several other technical colleges for that, and also a couple of other colleges, some online, some in person. Work-wise, beyond that, I have had jobs out in the professional field. I worked for the Cloister at Sea Island down on the coast by St. Simons, by Brunswick, for 6 months as a computer operator. I worked in 1996-97 as a Y2K programmer, and Y2K was the year 2000. And there was a fear that computers wouldn't know how to deal with it because computer programs were written with 2-digit years, and that when we flipped the year at that point, it's going to go to 00, and calculations on years were going to all be wrong. There was a lot of catastrophe expectations. We made it through in good shape, but I helped update a lot of the insurance programs that PMSC did, which was Policy Management System Corporation, for a year there. Then from 2005 to 2007, before I came on here, I worked full-time as a consultant in the computer industry, helping people fixing their computers, businesses fix them, businesses set up networks, program computers for them, and all kinds of maintenance on the computers for a number of different businesses in South Carolina and Georgia, including developing web pages for them. I still do that part-time on the side, but not a lot now. And I was doing that prior to that point since about 1982. So I also hold a number of computer certifications related to this class specifically. I am a Cisco Certified Academy Instructor in CCNA classes, which is what you're taking. I held CCNA certification back in 2001 to 2004. It's one of the ones that expires after 3 years and you have to retake it. When I retook it, I missed it by 1 question, and I wasn't teaching Cisco at that point then. They had me teaching other stuff and wasn't really using it, and I didn't want to go through the trouble of all the hard studying to get ready for that again to try to do, because school didn't require me to have it either, and that me taking it was out of my own pocket. But I have been CCNA certified, and I've had plenty of businesses tell me that the fact I have had it, even if it's not current, is still applicable. I am also Network Plus certified, and that is, I do actually hold 2 Network Plus certifications from CompTIA, a lifetime one from back in the 90s. And I believe it was 2 years ago that I got Network Plus current, and it's actually been renewed a couple of times. So I think my copy of Network Plus actually expires in like November of 2024. because when I pass higher level certification exams, it renews lower level ones for CompTIA. But I am Network Plus certified, and that's the primary thing you're learning in this class, is stuff that relates to Network Plus. As a matter of fact, I will be retaking that test sometime during this year. I'd like to get some of these, this first part of the year. I've got vouchers from that training I've been doing with CompTIA to take. I'll have one for CASP Plus soon. I've got a Security Plus one, a Cloud Plus that I've got to do within the next few months, because the only way I can renew it basically is take the exam again, and it expires in March or April. And Security Plus, Server Plus, Cloud Plus, CASP Plus. That may be it. Four or five of them. And beyond that, I'm actually signed up to take some more courses. I will start taking a Pen Test Plus training course, Train the Trainer one again, starting, I think, this week while you're doing this class. And that runs on Tuesday and Thursday nights from 8 to 10 o'clock at night, if I remember right. I hope to attend many of them in person, but I can attend them as a recording within a day or two, and it still counts. I have a number of other certifications out there. As a matter of fact, I'm also supposed to take Linux Plus, however you want to say it, but on January the 25th, if I remember my dates on that one. Beyond that, I am involved in my community. I'm an active member of the Fort Oglethorpe Kiwanis. I participate in activities with First Baptist Church in Lafayette. I am a sound video technician that also puts their services on Facebook for First Methodist Church in Swainsboro, Georgia. I do the web page for a couple of Methodist churches also in South Georgia, and mail out bulletins for them. And that I'm also an ambassador for the Catoosa County Chamber of Commerce and the Walker County Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the governor-elect of the Kentucky-Tennessee Kiwanis. Fort Oglethorpe Kiwanis are actually in the Kentucky-Tennessee district because we're close to Chattanooga, to put with those other clubs. And I will be governor for that entire district, consisting of all of Kentucky and the eastern part of Tennessee, basically just west of Nashville, starting this fall. So I'm involved a lot out there, and I'm doing some other things out there too. I also write a newspaper column each week for the Catoosa and Walker and Swainsboro newspapers as a volunteer, about technology. It's a question-answer column. You can find my older ones on my webpage, dwightwatt.com, or you can go to my LinkedIn page and you can find all of the ones for about the last 3 years. The last year and a half, I have not made it to my webpage yet. It takes a little bit of time for me to put them onto there, and I'm a little behind on that. They're also on a Facebook page that I think is How To Technology, or if you just do a search on Watt Technology article on Facebook, you can find that also, and they're sitting out there for the last 3 years or so. And every week when I write them, I actually post them to LinkedIn and Facebook. But there's lots of information about me on my webpage. Again, www.dwightwatt, that's one word, my first and last name, .com. I've got lots of stuff out there about me, pictures I've taken, where I've been. My resume's out there. A detailed resume is out there besides the print copy one that is about 3 to 4 pages. There's a bunch of HTML pages with more material about me. I have written some books, in addition to those weekly articles I do, written other articles. Amazingly, that newspaper article I do, I'm still amazed. I've written probably almost 600 of those. I know on my website I have gotten 510 of them. posted on there, and I'm about a year and a half behind, so there's still a year and a half of them to do on there, which would be another probably 60 or so in there, because some weeks I do occasionally miss one. And that I do web pages for a number of organizations still. Some of those, like where I'm doing them for clubs and churches, I'm not paid to do them. And some of them I get a minimal payment on them. So that's about me. So feel free to go out there and look on that. Second thing, syllabus. You've got a syllabus for this class, just like you do for all of your classes, and those are actual legal agreements between the school and you on how the class will be conducted. For most of you, there's probably one big area for you. There's one more that's not quite as big, and one that is some, but you really need to read the whole thing. It's got all kinds of information on that syllabus. I know they're not exciting to read, but the big thing that most people are looking for on there is it does tell you how your grade is determined. So I've got on there about that your discussions will count 10% of your grade. Your test will be 30% of your grade, which you'll take them at the Cisco site, and that your final exams, and you'll have two of them here in this Cisco class, one that's a practical or a lab final, as I'll probably call it, and one that's, I'll call it a written final, but you're really not going to write it, you're going to do it online, but it's a multiple choice exam. It'll be like your other exams, but twice as long. Now, those exams are prepared by Cisco, not by me. Now, and that'll be 40%. Those will each be 10% of your grade. So that should add up to 100. There's also on there the book that we're using. Now, actually in this class, you don't need a book. With this version of the Cisco curriculum, which is version 7, they have put the entire book online for free for you. It will be available later during the day on the first day of the class. I have to enter y'all out there at Cisco NetAcad site, their networking academy site, that you'll go to netacad.com. I have to enter y'all's names out there and get everybody put in. In this class, there's about 50 students in here, and I wasn't allowed to do it ahead of time because you can't, school policy is you can't access class materials until the first day of class. So I'll get that done during the day on that Monday, I hope. And your test will be at that site also. I've got one other class that is a operating system security class 2601 that is also using Cisco materials, and I have to put all those students out there also, and I think there's about 30 to 35 of them. Now, I may have some other stuff I'll throw in along the way, but basically all of your assignments for you are in Blackboard. Your tests are all at netacad.com, the Cisco site. And you'll get an email telling you that your account has been created and how to get into it, with what to deal with for password initially, etc. And so those will all be the assignments, and all of the things telling you what to do will be in Blackboard. It will also tell you when you have a test, but you won't take the test at Blackboard. And don't go from Blackboard to the test, although I do have a link there for you, because that's partly with school policy and partly also that I've had people tell me that they needed the link sitting there to remember on it. So I do have it there when you do have tests. They're not in every module, and this book is divided up into modules, not chapters. Although the physical book, there is a physical book available also, but it's identical as far as all the written content as the online book. The online one also has videos and some interactive different activities going on through it too for you to learn from. So most people choose to use the free in the netacad.com, but some people want a book, so it was optional sitting out there listed at the bookstore, still is. But you don't have to have it. You could get it somewhere else for that matter also. but you can do purely with the online materials. You're getting exactly the same, or if there's any differences between the two as far as the written material, it's because the online, they found a mistake in the material and they corrected the mistake, because it's easy to do in the online, where printing new books takes a little bit more time and stuff on it. But the online does have some additional pieces to it. So even if you were reading the book, you may well want to look at the online to look at some things within it. Your assignments, when you do them, will actually be at Cisco, but I will tell you which ones to do in Blackboard. You're not going to do all of the labs that they have out there at Cisco. You'll do the ones that I assign, and then you will submit them to me in Blackboard. Also in Blackboard, and that's all that stuff is in a section called assignments and tests, actually lessons, assignments and tests in my Blackboard courses. I have changed them slightly from before, so if you have taken a class from me before, the stuff in Blackboard will be a little bit differently arranged, and that was from student requests and comments. Instead of having all of the tests in one folder and all of the assignments in another folder, I have combined them. So then you've got the different modules. In the book, they're called chapter. Online, it's called modules. So think about modules and chapters, same thing. And I will mix them up. I use the book partly, although I don't have one in front of me right now. But I went and told you what you're doing in the chapter for the folder name and information. Then within the folder is your assignment, and that's the Dropbox also where you will submit it to. Second thing is your test, if there is one in that module, will be listed there. I think the first test is over modules 1 through 3, so it won't appear until you're down in module 3. Although you will do it at NetAcad, and I won't activate it till the week, like on that test, it'll be activated the week we work on chapter 3. So you can't do tests ahead of time. You can do assignments ahead of time. Also in there, and so also the PowerPoints in that same folder, and I may have some other information that I have for you about it, and there could be other assignments. I am working on seeing if I can get us a deal to give y'all some stuff to work with at TryHackMe also, that I started using a few weeks ago, and that they've got some neat classes in there, and that some of the stuff is free. Some of you may have used TryHackMe, but there's some stuff that's paid, and that's where I'm bumping into a problem on. I will be talking to them on the Monday your class begins, and hopefully you can set something up so that y'all will be able to, I'll have you do some stuff out there also that will count as assignments for you too. There is announcements in Blackboard where I post announcements. Things that y'all need to know, I will post it in announcements. There is a welcome greeting there to you in announcements right now, and there's a number of other announcements about some information, different things that you need to know. As things occur during the semester, it might be things that I would read to the class at the beginning of class or post on a bulletin board. I put them in announcements, and sometimes also in general discussion. So there's a set of discussions available also, which you'll have weekly discussions, which you're required to do every week. They're posted on Monday morning at 12:01 a.m. They're due, the initial post on Friday, by the end of Friday at 11:59 p.m. and 2 replies to 2 other students by Monday 11:59 p.m. So Monday will actually overlap with the end of one week and start of the next week. But you also have the choice, instead of doing discussions, you can do collaborate sessions live. It has to be a live session. This has actually been recorded as a collaborate session, but nobody else is in it. And you'll go in there on the schedule that I post next weekend. On the weekend after the class starts, we won't have a collaborate session the first week. And I will actually ask y'all, and I actually am asking you in announcements to let me know times and days that work or don't work for you. So do read that announcement and get that back to me by Friday. And make sure you tell me what class you're in when you send that to me. I will try to set up a schedule for the live collaborate sessions as best I can, according to what students have written me back on times and days. I have on that schedule that times and days in the morning and in the afternoon and in the evening on Monday and Tuesday. I have 5 classes. I believe 4 of them have live collaborate sessions. One of them is an internship special class, so that one doesn't. For this class, because we've got 50 some students in it, I will see about setting up 2 sessions for it, one like in the morning and one in the afternoon or whatever. One of them that's at one time of the day and the other one at a different time of the day, rather it be, so that we've got at least morning and afternoon, or morning and evening, or afternoon and evening covered in there, to get as many as possible, and depending on how many of y'all choose to participate in it. If you participate in the live collaborate session, you have to post a question or comments in there during the session. That will give you 100 on the discussion that week, and you don't have to do discussion. You can do collaborate sessions some weeks and discussions other weeks, or you can do all collaborate sessions or all discussions. That's up to you what you do on those. But I will have those available each week. And there I will go over the material just like we were in a classroom, and talk what the module is we're doing that week, or modules. Some weeks I believe we do a couple of modules in one week, and answer y'all's questions and comments back and forth, and also tell you some other general things. Second thing is I do record those, and I post those out in the course also in Blackboard. They're actually posted at YouTube, so I'll give you the link to YouTube, and you can listen to them later. Sometimes students that attended the session want to listen to them later, go back and catch something they got questions about later on. Or if you just missed it, you can attend that one. However, if you attend the recorded session, that does not count in place of the discussion. Only attendance in live and participating in live collaborate sessions counts. All right, that's a lot of stuff I've thrown so far. We got a couple other things for me to mention to you. So let me catch my breath for a second. But next one is email. Feel free to email me at any time questions. Your first assignment, which I believe I called first assignment and no-show assignment, is due by this Friday. As other assignments are typically all semester due on Mondays. If there is an assignment in the class that would have been due this coming Monday, it'll actually be due Tuesday next week, because Monday is a holiday. So if it's Monday falls on a holiday, I do delay the day by 1 day for it, so that you get your holiday, and I get my holiday. But y'all can email questions to me at any time. You can ask me questions in the live collaborate sessions. You can also come by my office and see me. I'm on the Walker County campus, or if you want to set up an appointment for me to meet with you on another campus, I can do that also. And you can also call me. But emailing me, I do watch email all day and answer those emails promptly during the day. Now, some days I'm busier with some stuff than other days, so I may get slowed down a little. And there's occasionally a day I'm off campus attending some other type meetings. Tuesday I was supposed to be this week, but that training, leadership training that I was to attend got canceled for this month. So my next time I'll have to miss for that is February the 16th. But I will let y'all know as that gets close and other type things. If I'm not going to be available during a day for answering email, I will let you know that typically the day before. And I also answer email in the evening and on weekends normally. Now, that's not always guaranteed, because I am involved in other activities, and So I may not, but if I'm working on the computer in the evening or on the weekend, I'll typically look at y'all's emails also and answer any emails that have come in. I have taken online classes. I know the frustrations of sending your instructor a question and waiting 2 weeks to get an answer and then going, what was it I asked them? Do I even need to know whatever I asked them any longer? And did they even answer the question? So I try to get that back. School policy says I'm supposed to answer back within 1 business day, although I'm required to answer back within 3 business days, but they encourage within 1 business day. I actively encourage instructors to answer back within 1 business day, preferably even quicker. So a lot of times normally you're going to get an answer during the day if you write me during the day. So I am trying to be responsive to y'all's needs. Holidays, you've got several this semester. They are marked on the calendar in Blackboard. Deadlines are pretty well covered in Blackboard on the calendar. That is subject to change some. There's some things could be added, like where I was going to mention about Try Hack Me. But at this point, that calendar is correct. There is a guide in your syllabus that says what chapters will cover which week. That's also subject to change. It's just a guide. The other part, last thing I've got on my list for this class is software for this class. The only software you'll need for this class is you will need Packet Tracer, and you need the latest version, which is 8.1 if I remember right. No, it's 8, and I think 8.1 is what just came out last August, September. And so you'll need that version of it. That is available for free at the NetAcad site. So once you get your login information from me, that when you get onto the NetAcad site, before you go into the class, you'll see a link to get your copy of Packet Tracer for free. Anyone else that's interested in getting a copy of Packet Tracer can also get it for free from NetAcad. They can go out there and just create an account. And yes, anybody can create an account there. And that they can then get a copy of Packet Tracer. And there's a number of courses that they and you can just go out there and take for free. Now, there are some courses like this course that they're only available from a trained instructor in that course. So for me to teach this class, I had to take the training class for it, which means just as long as your course did, except we did it in 7 days, I believe it was, but we went to school 8 hours a day. And then I've had to attend updates on it since, because I've been teaching Cisco since fall of 2001. And then you'll use the NetAcad site. So that'll be really the only software you're going to have for this class. Now, Packet Tracer, I think still works on your mobile devices, but I would not recommend using it on there. The screen's too small really to work with it. But it will work on Linux and Windows, and I believe it works on the Mac, but I'm not sure. I don't think it does now I think about it. I think it only works on Windows and Linux, and then also on the mobile devices. So that's my introduction to you about me. If you got any questions, feel free to email me or call me or drop by my office. But if you're going to drop by my office, I would encourage you to write me beforehand and tell me when you would like to meet me so I can be sure that I am here. I am out and around on the campus some. I also go to other campuses to help them with some stuff sometimes, and I'm also involved in those other activities, and so sometimes I'm away for an hour or so, and my lunch hour is undependable when it may occur, because if I get tied up into classes working on stuff, it may be 1 or 2 o'clock before I realize it's lunchtime instead of going at 12. The other one is I will have Collaborate sessions starting the 2nd week on Mondays and Tuesdays, and that will affect things also. So have a good semester. I hope you all do real well. Ask me questions as you need along the way. This is a difficult course. There's a lot of stuff we will cover in it, but all of you can do really well in it. It would please me to no end to the end of the semester for all of you to still be in the class that start today, and that all of you make A's and B's in the class. That would be no problem to me, and as a matter of fact, will be a pride for me. That I will be proud of all of you. So give it your best. Work with me if you have problems, and I will assist you. And let's get through this and do real well. The other part is at mid-semester, you will have to come in to learn how to do the plugs on to make the cable, to make 3 different type patch cables, and I will demonstrate that to you. I've got all the materials for you, so you don't have to have any materials, and I will go to different campuses. I'll set a schedule up at that time. The second part of that is for the final exam, you will have to come in to do that for me also, and I will do the same, going to different campuses at different times, days and evenings, both times, and that you will do the same thing again, except when you do it then, you will do it with no assistance. Whereas at midterm, I'm teaching you how to do it, so I will demonstrate it for you, and also if you have problems doing it, I'll stand there and help assist you to get it until you get them to work correctly. After you make those 3 cables, you get to take them home with you, and that you can actually show people and go, this is what I learned how to do today. I actually still do have the my original 3 cables I made when I took Cisco 1 and the Train to Trainer in West Virginia back in fall of 2001, summer of 2001. So it is neat to be able to learn how to do those. So that's it for this. So I will see you in class.